There's always this massive tension in football. On the pitch, it's all passion, it's the scoreboard, it's the glory.
Right.
But then you go into the boardroom, and it's just cold, hard numbers on a balance sheet. So while fans are watching the league table, investors, well, they need to be watching for these going concern warnings.
It is the classic paradox, isn't it? You can win the match, but still, lose the business if you're not careful.
Elka.
And today we are looking at, I think, a perfect example of that high wire act.
Let's first get to know the company a little. We're analyzing Beşiktaş Futbol Yatırımları Sanayi ve Ticaret A.Ş, founded way back in 1995.
Yeah, and their headquarters are pretty iconic. It's right there at the Tupra Stadium in Istanbul.
So what does this company, what does it actually do?
Well, think of it as the corporate engine behind the team. It handles professional football management, all the player transfers, and the stadium operations. They also have subsidiaries like Beşiktaş Sportif for all the merchandise and Beşiktaş TV.
It's a pretty big operation then. I see they have an average of 462 employees. But the ownership structure, that seems to be the key here.
Mm-hmm.
The club itself, Beşiktaş Gymnastik Kulübü, owns about 70.12%. The rest, that 29.88%, that's what's publicly traded on Borsa Istanbul.
So if you're a retail investor, you're effectively a minority partner in all of this.
Exactly. And who's steering the ship? The board is chaired by Serdal Adalia, and there are 14 members listed.
Yeah.
I did scan that list, and frankly, there's 0 female board members.
Wow. That's a stark detail in 2026. And the compensation is fascinating, too. Only the independent members get paid.
Right, a modest 10,000 Turkish lira a month.
Yeah. The rest, I guess, they work for free. For the love of the club or maybe the prestige.
For the influence.
Okay.
Okay, so let's look at the sector. Football finance is, it's seasonal, it's incredibly volatile. If we do a quick SWOT analysis, where do they stand?
Okay, strength. They have massive brand equity, no question. And they can generate cash from player sales. Look at the Getson Fernandez deal.
But the weaknesses, they must be significant.
They're glaring. They have a massive working capital deficit.
So in simple terms, they don't have enough cash on hand to cover their immediate bill.
Precisely. We're talking short-term liabilities exceeding current assets by 5.2 billion lira. It's like they're trying to swim upstream against this huge current of debt.
Okay. Any opportunities?
Well, they're betting big on new leadership. Bringing back Sergen Yalçın, that could spark success on the pitch, and success drives revenue. They also increased their capital ceiling to 21.8 billion lira, which gives them some breathing room.
And the threats.
Oh, plenty. UEFA fines, for one. They just got hit with a 900,000 euro penalty. Exchange rate risks, of course. But the big one, the one we mentioned, is the auditor's going concern uncertainty.
That just sounds ominous.
It is. Okay, so with that context, now we can move on to our analysis.
Let's do it. Looking at the numbers for the interim period, so that's ending November 2025, revenue came in at 3.52 billion lira.
Yeah, and that's actually a decrease of about 11% compared to the last period.
Not great.
No, it's not. But the profitability is where it gets really ugly. They swung from a small loss to a massive gross loss of 2.34 billion lira. Last time, that loss was only 96 million. The costs have just exploded.
Then I assume that cascades all the way down.
Right. The operating loss widened to 3.09 billion. And the bottom line, the net result? It's a loss of 787 million lira. And just remember, in the prior period, they actually turned a 50 million lira profit, so they've completely flipped from black to deep red.
But I'm seeing here that cash and equivalents actually rose. It's up to 215 million from about 47 million. That sounds like a good thing now.
It's a drop in the bucket. You can't look at that in isolation. You have to look at the debt.
Okay.
Total liabilities are sitting at approximately 19 billion lira.
19 billion. That's
right.
That is a staggering number.
It is. And that's exactly why the auditor, RSM, flagged the going concern uncertainty. The auditor is basically saying, look, given your negative working capital and your accumulated past losses of 10.9 billion, we are not sure you can survive another year.
So how are they keeping the lights on?
The banks. Yeah. It all comes down to the banks. They have a framework agreement with a consortium Ziraat Hawk Dennis that extends their debt all the way out to 2030. That's the lifeline.
So equity is at 2.55 billion, and they did increase paid-in capital, so they are trying to shore up the foundation a bit.
They are. And operationally, they're making moves. Selling Gedson Fernandez to Spartak Moscow for over 20 million euros, that was critical cash. They also brought in players like Ndidi and Abraham.
And the management change, replacing Solskjaer.
Huge. Bringing back a club legend like Sergen Yalçın on a contract until 2027, They're banking on him to bring back the glory, because glory brings prize money, it brings ticket sales, merchandise sales. It's all connected.
Before we wrap up, I want to go back to the auditor's report. You mentioned the going concern part, but they also issued a qualified opinion. What does that actually mean for a regular investor?
It means the auditor is signing off on the books except for one specific major issue that they just don't trust.
And in this case?
In this case, it's a 3.8 billion lira receivable, so money that's owed to the company from its own parent club.
Wait, so the majority owner owes the public company 3.8 billion lira.
Yes, and the auditor explicitly says there is significant uncertainty about whether they can ever collect that money. If you are a retail investor, that is a massive, massive red flag. It means an asset on their books might actually be worthless.
That paints a very stark picture. With liabilities just dwarfing the assets and this deep reliance on loans, you have to ask, is the club's financial survival totally dependent on winning on the field? Or is some kind of deeper structural overhaul the only real way out?
That is the multi-billion lira question, isn't it?
Please like, subscribe, and share this deep dive if you found it useful.
And we'd kindly invite you to evaluate channel membership. It really helps support us in making these ongoing videos.
And remember, you can also show your support with super thanks. We'll catch you next time.